don't know that to be true. Obviously, we've seen a number of allegations that there's corruption in the union movement. I think what I would say about that is that there are people in all walks of life, and I think I would point to the banking industry as perhaps the greatest example of this at the moment, that might seek to profit off the business model above and beyond what the values of the organisation are. That can certainly happen in the union movement, it can happen in the banking industry. I'm in superannuation, perhaps it could happen in the superannuation industry. We've seen a lot of talk about the financial advice components at the moment. So, look, there are people who, as I said, would seek to operate outside the law. They don't necessarily just exist in the union movement. They don't just exist in the corporate sector. They're everywhere, unfortunately, and I believe it's the job of the law enforcement agencies to bring those people to bear, and not a political operation that we've seen, such as the Royal Commission.
Well, unions have historically and still do today have a privileged place in the industrial relations system in Australia, and under Australian law they have special privileges provided to them. There's certainly a place for them, but one of the things that is concerning me greatly at the moment is the allegations of the abuse of that privileged position in the Australian industrial relations system. So some of the allegations going around at the moment that employees under enterprise agreements have received lower levels of pay as a consequence of union officials creating fake union memberships to influence the number of votes that a trade union affiliated to the Labor Party has at the floor of an ALP conference. The reason that concerns me greatly is A, they do have a privileged position. Secondly, they should be focused on representing their members, not creating fake memberships, all for the sake of potential kickbacks or additional votes that they wouldn't be entitled to at Labor Party pre-selections. That's not focusing on the interests of members, that's not working for members, and in my view they need to return to that role, which is a privileged role, which has special opportunities but also has special responsibilities.
I think unions have a really important role to play. So, I think that that is important to be able to ultimately look at basic working conditions, health and safety, the sorts of things that really are important in most workplaces. What I don't support is where unions tend to move away from representing their true membership and the workers and start to focus more on the politics and the outcomes from a political perspective. So I think we've lost our way a little bit in where unions were traditionally set up and what the reasons for them being are. Some unions have been better than others. I look at sort of for instance the police union, which do largely a great job in representing their members and looking at working conditions for their members, and come up with some real good policy issues around. I know that the police were instrumental in looking at family violence, and the police association, the union, was looking at family violence and how that could be tackled. They're the sorts of things that I think unions can play a really important role in, but not blockading workplaces and being militant and doing things from a political outcome. So for me, it's absolutely about where workers need to be treated fairly, but a lot of the people that control the unions are not doing things for the best interests of the workers, but they're doing it for the political parties in which they're affiliated.